The following is rated F for fairness. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Welcome to the audio show.
Friends, let's get into the meat of the matter. The truth of the matter is this. Shayla does not care about the honeypot girl. She cares about the money the honeypot girl makes. Doesn't care about the honeypot girl. She cares about the money that the honeypot girl makes. Shayla is no different from her mother, who pimps her out. Okay? It's just about that you're seeing. Let's go.
So, if you and Wayne are broken up, what about that $30,000 a month?
He's gonna give me some money for a while.
And the honeypot girl didn't just sit down and read this just now. None of these is clicking so far that, all Shayla is asking her about is the money and the things. It's not really about her well-being. It's about the things. That's why I'm gonna get flack.
To, keep me on my feet.
Okay. So he's still gonna look out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's pretty noble of Wayne. A lot of dudes just leave you and don't leave you with nothing. At least you came up for real. For being honest.
So I think that basically they have been, to me, it seems to me as though they have been watching the show because I said the same thing this morning. Again, she's lucky that at least she's left with something. Someone said, wealthy men always give you a severance package. I beg to differ. They don't always give you no severance package. You have some men who's not giving you any severance package. Once it's over, it's over. They're not giving you anything else. Especially when they're the ones that are breaking up with you. But if you say so, I'm going to have to take your word for it.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
I'm glad he didn't just cut you off like that. I feel like that's really evil. But you know what? I know you're not asking for my opinion, but a fight about a married to the game ring is dumb. I would have just let that slide. Honestly, that's not worth my livelihood. $30,000 a month. Do you realize in 1 month you make what some people make in a year or in 2 months?
Shayla, sometimes there is so much more to life than money.
Yeah, that's because the economy ain't hit you yet. Because you've been.
That's probably it. That's number one. That's probably it. Because some of the things that she's arguing about is nonsense. Let's talk about it, friends. I could understand if Wayne was asking her to do some Diddy thing and rubbing up baby oil and all that kind of stuff. That's not what Wayne is asking her for. It's not as though Wayne is turning the honeypot girl into Diddy. Think about what the argument this morning was about. He said he wanted to get himself a ring, and the woman is telling him that she does not want him to get himself that particular ring. And he's saying, I'm going to get it anyways. That's what the argument is about. Frivolous things. Infantile things. It's like you having a bunch of money and you decide you're going to buy yourself a new Mercedes-Benz even though you already have one. But it's your money. And I'm trying to tell you, you can't buy another Mercedes-Benz. What do you think you would do? I'm just saying. It's frivolous things. It's not things that are actually serious. It's nothing that's a deal breaker. So the people who are trying to argue for honeypot girl, come again, please, friends. You're not arguing for anything. If you're arguing for solid things, it makes sense. Coming in and Wayne hugged up on the couch with PRA argue for that, it makes sense. But if it's nothing at all to break your thing apart, she's been nagging. That's the problem is that the lady has been nagging. It's as simple as that. Nothing else. There's nothing else to it more than she's just been nagging. Simple.
Living a lavish life, honeypot is all I'm saying.
Girl.
And sometimes fights aren't worth the entire relationship. I feel like as women, we need to be like a little bit more soft. Everything is not a hard.
To what end?
Everything doesn't have to be a hard life. Like we have to learn how to coexist with men and understand men.
Does
everything
coexisting mean that I have to bite my tongue every time I feel away?
It does.
So does every time you feel away, you're going to express that every time you feel away? So in other words, you're fighting every battle. In other words, she's basically telling you what Wayne was telling her. She's trying to see if she can fight every single solitary battle. In other words, she basically wants to force her way upon the man. She wants to fight every single solitary battle. Everything going to be a battle. This shows me that Wayne was right for cutting her off because that's what it is. Because in any relationship, there are compromises. You're not going to get into everything. I'm not going to get in. There are certain things that I don't like, but it is what it is. You make it slide. Go at everything unless it's a real deal breaker. Whatever it is this morning was not a real deal breaker, but hey, y'all know it work.
But it's
I'm not
knowing when
letting
to
that
bite your
money-
tongue when $30,000 a month is on the line.
Shayla, no. I feel like I have bent and jumped through hoops and whatever on my opinion about a lot of stuff.
And you've done that as well with D. And nothing happened. You did the same thing with D. So don't make it look like you didn't do the same thing with D. I mean, you have been doing the same thing with D. Come on now. Wayne has also bit his tongue on a lot of things. Think about it. Weren't you like still going around D's studio and working with D? Come on. Miss me with some of the things that she's saying.
I do have a vision of what I want my relationship to look like, and I feel like if I would have just bowed out on this because of the money, then what else? I'm gonna bow out on everything else. And it was never about the money. I loved him.
You can't tell me that you love me and you've been over your boyfriend's house doing business with your ex-boyfriend. Spare me with that nonsense. And you barely can manage Wayne and the exes because you're complaining about the exes, that you've been putting up with the exes. Man,
Yeah. No, I get it.
And I thought, I don't know, if I can't speak my mind, then what is that money worth? I'm not gonna be a doormat. And plus,
when were you being a doormat though? When was Wayne treating her like a doormat? Okay, if y'all are going to argue this, argue it in fairness. When has Wayne treated the honeypot like a doormat? In fact, let me ask y'all, has Wayne ever treated the honeypot girl like a doormat? A honeypot girl asked Wayne to be on his special, and Wayne said yes. I'm going to say this. As a person who's been on stage, and hey, I'm not at the level that Wayne is at. I've never invited any one of my, any one of my exes or so to be on no stage with me. Because I don't find, number one, I don't find it cool. Number two, I don't believe that I want to put that part of my business inside of the spotlight. But he did this because she asked him to do that. I'm trying to show you how far she's going. And the more he does these things, is the more them get to her. That's why the Lauren thing got to her. And the Sarah thing get to her. And then when Amber come around, that get to her. Then when some other ex come around, it get to her. Then an Erica gets to her. All of these things get to her. Look here. She is nagging. be real, ladies. She's nagging. You can tell that she's nagging. You can tell that she's a combative woman. No one is saying you can't speak your mind, but good God, every single day you get up, you're going to decide you're going to go off. If I decide to open the toilet tissue bag and I didn't close it, you won't complain about that. Just come on. That's what it sounds like to me, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
you know, it's like he was waiting for something anyways. He was waiting for this to happen. He needed an excuse because I knew once that special dropped, and honestly, everything. Wayne has so much going on that people don't know about. I feel like every new level is a new girl. That's what I'm starting to see. And some people, they collect coins, $2 bills, dolls, movies. Wayne collects women.
I think that this is coming from a place of insecurity. Right? So you're upset. So what's going on is that the honeypot girl is upset because she does not know how to hold this man. So none of what he said today was important. In other words, when him say you couldn't even cook me a meal not once over the 5-month period, that didn't ring a bell. And remember what he said now. He said, I have a chef. And not once. I don't expect you to do it every single day, but you just once in a while. In other words, to make me at least feel like, you know, me still special or whatever it is. None of these was done. Notice how she has put those things to the back burner and is blaming everything that's up on the front burner except those pieces.
Okay, and that could be true, but this is a different type of lifestyle. So I wouldn't have moved out of my position. You should have told him you wasn't going nowhere.
Girl,
You should have.
listen, that's the difference between me and you. I'm not letting that money hold me hostage. I'll go get me.
When you broke, you're held even more hostage. That's why I said you can't relate. because you ain't felt that hurt yet. When that $30,000 dry up, I'm like, you gonna feel it. But I get you. I'm with the.
Now, I will say this. I don't agree with Shayla on a lot of things, but she's not a far off. While I'm not telling you to sell yourself out to money, the truth of the matter though is you need money to survive in an economy that needs money. So making it seem as though money is this bad thing is disingenuous, because you do need it to be able to purchase things or to get things done. The honeypot girl was broke and on the street should have been saying something totally different. That is also true. I can't even go around that, because at the end of the day, that's also true. I'm not telling you to make it, make it rule and be a god and you're, going below your dignity. But was she really going below her dignity though? Think about it, friends. Come on now. Anyways, give me a take, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna talk to y'all soon.